Hello there, my beautiful collective signs. This is Rachel with Dark Knight Coaching. Today's video is a traditional Celtic cross spread where I tap into your energy and kind of just go where the reading flows. There is a lot of energy right now, a lot of stuff about maybe a passed on loved one, grandmother energy. When I get into the zone, which is like the gamma brainwave frequency, and I meditate on your energy, I usually tap in through music. So Moby is the artist I was listening to today, and the song Flower might be significant, so you might want to go check out that song. I forget what movie it's in, but it's I feel like it's in like Ocean's 11 or something like that, or something about Ocean's 11 movie might be significant. Or like the Italian Job, maybe that car thief robbery movie. So something about like a heist or a coup might be significant for some of you. But when I was meditating, I also got the message like a rose by any other name might be significant. I know I'm pretty sure that's a Shakespeare quote or something along those lines. But flower is significant for sure in this message. And I figured the name Rose might be a grandmother name or something along those lines, but also the name Sally might be significant. It could just be the name of your car or something like that. I know some people name their cars. I don't understand that, but you do you. So, yeah, those are just kind of the premeditation messages that I have for you. And then the tarot reading itself is full of a lot of interesting energy. And I, towards the end of this video, I will pull a bunch of wisdom oracle cards and other messages from your guides and spirit. But there is definitely a strong message about flowers in this reading. Just roses, flowers, something like that. And yeah, let's go ahead and dive right in. So right away, the first card I have for you in the traditional Celtic cross spread that I pull is the Page of Swords. Sometimes this is like a spying energy, like an immature energy, or a very kind of novice energy when it comes to some sort of mindset. So swords are all about our headspace. Now, if you've been trying to leave a mindset, the challenge here for you is the Two of Cups. It's a coupling card. So maybe you're trying to change how you react to a situation or a relationship, but I do feel like you're still kind of traversing past carnage because the foundation of this situation and this challenge that you're going through right now is the Knight of Wands. This is a very Sagittarian energy, but it's also a card of like being the wounded warrior, going through the ringer and having a lot of trauma and drama that you're trying to still heal within and resolve on a mental level. It's like sometimes when we go through traumatic experiences, our mind basically creates the trauma because we can't comprehend logically what happened, and that's when trauma builds itself basically. So trauma comes from not being able to understand, not being able to comprehend a scenario or situation, and that's when it kind of sticks with us. It's kind of like, I don't know, plaque, if you want to think of it that way. That's what trauma is, and in order to like heal from trauma, you have to like scrape it off, and that's kind of a very metaphorical way, but that can come, that can be done through somatic healing, EDMR, Reiki, Wim Hof, those sorts of things, because basically it's like those shadows kind of leach a hole in our auric field, and we are energetic beings. So when we have trauma, it's kind of held into our body, but it causes holes in our auras, and we have many layers of auras. We are very much so multidimensional beings. So I highly recommend Reiki for therapeutic healing, even talk therapy, scream therapy. They have those rooms where you can go in and like break things. Sometimes that's a good way to just like physically get that out of your system. It may not heal everything, but it can be a way to help transmute past pain and energy and things like that. Now, there's also like brain therapy that can be done, which sometimes that's done through like the light therapy or red light therapy, things like that, but also through rewiring your neurons. And that can be done using certain types of mushrooms. So you might want to Google that, because there's been scientific studies from Stanford that really promote the those kinds of mushrooms that help rewire your neural pathways, and it basically kind of reframes the trauma, and it almost like short circuits the old patterns of thinking. And I feel like that might be what you need at this time because of that Page of Swords energy. It's like you're shifting your mindset, and you're really trying to you're really being challenged at this time when it comes to love or a loving situation, either with a friend or yourself or a new partner. This is a test for you, I feel like. Now, in the recent past here, you have the Chariot. There was a choice to make, or maybe there's some sort of long distance commitment about a relationship or moving forward. But the Chariot card is all about movement. So there was a shift and a change for sure. But in the present energy, you have the Ace of Wands. So maybe this shift or enlightenment period is causing some revelations that are kind of lighting your fire again, or spirit and your guides are trying to help you maybe get motivated to keep moving forward. And sometimes that can be hard when our mindset is shifting and when we're changing, and that's new territory and we don't know which direction to go in. And that can lead to like analysis paralysis. It can lead to falling back into old comfortable patterns of repeat. Like, if you've always leaned into some sort of vice, it might be like you're kind of trying to move out of that. Now, in the near future, you have the Seven of Pentacles and the Seven of Wands. So 7-7, something about those numbers might be significant, but the Seven of Pentacles coming out is a card of, is this going to be worth the effort? Am I actually, everything that I'm doing internally, externally to try to change my life, to shift and elevate, is it going to be worth it? And to have the Seven of Wands come out as a clarifier there, it's like it is, because you're standing up for your morals, your ethics, your belief systems, your values, those sorts of things. And when you stand up for your soul and you're authentic and you're in your true highest form, that's good positive energy, and the law of attraction comes into play. Like, good things will come for you. It might just be a matter of time. And sometimes you can, when you're shifting and you're elevating and you're like shedding the old skin, you kind of have to shed old people and old situations as well. And that can leave you feeling like left out in the cold, because you have the Five of Pentacles here in your subconscious energy. So on a subconscious level, maybe you're finding that you don't really relate to most people anymore. And that's because you have grown apart. And if you don't grow together, you grow apart. That's just a part of relationships and life. And we're all on, different levels and different wavelengths and different timelines. And we can't take everyone with us. So take it as a karmic lesson of like, you've learned the lesson and and you understand now. And because you are being spiritually guided and you're watching this video, chances are you are doing the self-work, the inner work, the healing work. And not many people go that route because it's the harder path. It's the path unknown. It's the void. It's the path of a chosen one. It's the path of an earth angel. It's the path of those who are divinely guided. And that is really a challenge, because usually you're kind of alone at the top of the mountain, and it can be overwhelming at times, but it's also kind of a roller coaster ride of like, you're going to have waves of emotions, and you're going to have waves of understanding, and then you're going to have waves of trauma coming back. And it's almost like this spiral journey to get to this top of this mountain. And then, you reach the peak and you have to come down, and then you traverse the next mountain. So it's like this never ending valley, chasm, climb situation that you're going through. And sometimes that can feel very heavy and lonely until you can find your soul tribe. And sometimes, a soul tribe comes in many forms. It can come in the form of a tarot reader. It can come in the form of somebody you really relate to on a social media site or something like that. It doesn't have to be a super tangible 3D relationship. It can just be like somebody you use for inspiration. It could be a poet. Who am I thinking of? Maya Angelou is coming to mind. And it could just be like you have this role model, and that is part of your soul tribe in a way, even though, it's not a 3D tangible connection. It's still like the essence of the person is in their creative work and in their co-creation, and that is the remnants of their soul, and it's impacting you on a molecular level, because we're absorbing energy constantly, and we're absorbing everything that we read, everything we listen to, everything that's around us. So it's still a connection, whether it is on the quantum realm or whether it's in the 3D realm. Now, your power and control in this situation is the Fool. This is about starting over, starting new, a new chapter, a new path, a new journey. That is usually pretty typical after a dark night of the soul. You're on a new trajectory. Now, how do people see you? This one kind of made me chuckle a little bit. I do feel like you're going through a dark night of the soul or some sort of awakening or enlightenment. Some people like to call it a midlife crisis, whatever you want to call it. Okay. But you have the Tower. So people see you maybe as destructive or shifting on a major level, because you also have the King of Swords and the Five of Wands. So maybe they see you as the pot stirrer or the black sheep, or cold and calculating and fighting, like wanting conflict. But that's not the energy that I get here, because typically if you're empathic, you're watching this video. Like, and empaths don't like go searching for a fight. Typically they just like usually do their own thing. And when you start to shift yourself and you're standing up for yourself and you're putting in that self-work and you're understanding your worth and your value more, people who have been in your life are going to see you as being very high conflict, because they're not used to that version of you. They're not used to maybe you setting healthy boundaries for yourself or standing up for yourself and voicing your opinion. And when that happens, it's a shift, and you usually will lose a lot of people because they can't stand that version of you, but it's like they cannot control you anymore. And that is when you really see somebody for who they are, because it's like that's when they call you crazy, is when they cannot control what you're saying or what you're doing. And the way that they lash out when they realize that you're not going to conform or believe the lies that they've probably been feeding you for a long time, then you become high conflict to them, because you're not falling for the gaslighting, the manipulation, the toxic behavior patterns. Like, you're really just recognizing a spade for a spade. And most people cannot handle or function with that. So I do feel like that's what's happening. Now, in your hopes and your fears, because of this outside judgment, I feel like you're afraid that you're not going to be like loving or be able to offer love in a way that somebody wants it. And I feel like that's a false narrative. So don't believe the naysayers, because when you love yourself and you fill up your own cup first, that's when you can truly love and open yourself up to love for someone else. Because when you're securely attached to yourself and your environment and how it is you are, and you know yourself, then you could really offer love to somebody who is worthy, and you'll have discernment, and you will be able to really identify who's worth your energy and who's worth your time. Now, in your near future outcome, you have the Hanged Man. This is you seeing things from a different angle, a different perspective. Sometimes, this is the card of enlightenment, because there's a glowing light around his head, because he's hung himself upside down. I think this is the story of Odin, if I'm correct, the Norse mythology, of where he hangs himself upside down for however many days, and so then he can see things from a different angle. And God speaks to him, or something along those lines. I can't remember the full story, but I do feel like the Hanged Man here is you, and you're changing a perspective or a mindset when it comes to your boundaries and having a solid foundation of love for yourself. And it's just an overall great energy. I love to see this. So very cool, collective. Now, if you feel guided, please make sure you smash the like button. It helps my channel grow, and I greatly appreciate it. And I will pull a bunch of oracle cards now for you and see what other messages you or your guides, your higher self, have for you to help you on your spiritual path. Wow. Okay. Definitely something about flame gazing is important. If you look back into anthropological studies, there's a lot to do with cavemen and staring at a flame. Or tribes dancing around a fire and things like that. There's a very much so a significance there, and it's going to help you clear some trauma from your auric body, or it might just help you tap in too, like tap into your higher self and access through your crown chakra better. Usually when you flame gaze, it helps your pineal gland, which is your third eye chakra as well. So that might be important at this time. Interesting. Okay. All right, I'm going to pull a couple more. You have the horse in your energy. So some of you might be dealing with Sagittarius. It says, find the balance between the instinctive and tamed parts of your personality. So add a little spontaneity and creativity to yourself. Trying to see what signs I get. Sagittarius, Scorpio. Oof, yeah, chaos and conflict. Chaos and conflict. I feel like this is your battle with people who are not accepting the new you, the new version of you. And that's number 33, which is the Christ number, Christ consciousness number 33. It's also the number of the Ascended Masters. Now you have, my future is full of light. This is just maintaining an optimistic perspective. An attitude of gratitude is going to get you pretty far. Sometimes that's hard to do when we're going through shifts and we're going through changes and we feel left out in the cold, we feel all alone. Sometimes having an attitude of gratitude feels impossible. And just starting your day with like one thing you're grateful for can shift your whole energy for that day. Now, the moon card I have for you is New Moon in Virgo, a time to give rather than take. This doesn't have to be like you're giving away money or anything like that. You might be just like volunteering your time to help someone. And you have the Agape card. That's what made me think you maybe need to do some somatic therapy with the flame gazing. I like this card because all the candles are very symbolic. So you might want to do some candle rituals. There's a lot of things you can do. I don't really, I'm not sure. You'll have to look up like witchy candle stuff if you want to dive into that sort of thing. Now, priorities are important at this time as well, because this is from my Power of Love deck. So it's like, I feel like you're prioritizing yourself because of that Queen of Cups energy. Self-love, self-care, self-worth. Maybe you're putting some more time and effort into your appearance or something like that. It says you understand the paramount importance of manifesting love in all situations. Now, love can remain even after traumatic or toxic relationships. If you have empathy for someone, that is usually a sign of your level of emotional intelligence and emotional awareness. Now, forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. So I think establishing healthy boundaries is vital, but I do feel like you're at this point of acceptance where you're like, people, you can kind of see through them. And that's one like perk and one downside to going through a spiritual enlightenment. It's like you can see people's intentions very clearly. And sometimes that is painful to absorb because not everyone has good intentions. And if you're empathic, you kind of might have been naive in assuming most people are, wanting good things for everyone else. But some people, especially those that are leaning more into their narcissistic personality traits, they only have their best interest in mind. So I do feel like acceptance is important here. And this is tied to your root chakra, which is symbolized by the red on the outside of this card. So make sure you're going outside and grounding yourself, because we are all energetic beings. We are all batteries. And we do need to earth ourselves, ground ourselves, walk outside barefoot so we can kind of release negative energy and absorb positive energy as we go as well. Now, let's see. I have 2 more cards for you. And again, if this video is resonating, please smash the like button. It helps my channel grow. I greatly appreciate it. If you're interested in a one-on-one coaching session where I can help you heal through your trauma, please feel free to book on my website. If you're interested in a personalized tarot reading, I can do that online as well. So you can book that online too. Now, for your third eye intuition, you have practice. It says sit in your body to truly work with your intuition. And do you have an odd or pressing feeling that it is telling you something, but you don't know what? Pay attention to any feelings and see where they lead you. Now, this is relying on your gut instinct. This is going with what your soul knows to be true. Sometimes when we have gone through trauma or gaslighting and manipulation, it's hard to trust ourselves again because we don't know. It can be hard to differentiate a person for what they're saying versus what they're doing. So practicing discernment and honing that skill is vital at this time for you. Now you also have Inner Truth. This is from my I Ching deck. I love the I Ching. If you're not sure what I Ching is, it's tied to the Tao. That's more of your feminine and masculine energy. Typically with I Ching, you cast coins, and the coins are heads or tails, and they basically have the yin and the yang, and then that's what makes up all of these little lines. So as you cast them, if you have mostly feminine or masculine, you write a full line or a broken line, and that's how this is broken down. But there's also a great book, I don't have it out right now, that I recommend that's tied to the Tao. It is called, what's it called? The Gene Keys by Richard Rudd, I believe. And it is very much so aligned with your astrological chart, as well as what your soul's purpose and mission and the healing that you need to go through on this particular life that you're in. So number 61 might be important, but this is about your inner truth. This is about authenticity. It says, piglets and fishes, good fortune, fruitful to cross the great river, and constancy bears fruit. Piglets and fishes are symbols of wealth, plenty, and luck, often used in offerings to the spirits. You are in a state of committed connectedness and can trust that you will be provided for. Success and ongoing ventures and the insight to be in the right place at the right time are both manifestations of your inner truth. So where do you place your trust, and what feels true? So ask yourself, what is your belief system? What is your value system? Because you're really having to stand up for it at this time, and you're wondering if it's going to be worth it. And I do feel like it is. It's just you have to come up with your own variation of what that means to you. And no one can choose or dictate that for you, because then it's not coming from an authentic or genuine place. So yeah, lots of good things for you, collective. I hope this video helped. If it did, again, please smash that like button. It helps my channel grow, and I will see you next time.